Hi, Teri here from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is a beautiful display card. It's a bit like a reverse Z-fold card. I've used the Bloom and Grow stamp set together with the coordinating Budding Blooms dies, and I've also used papers from the Butterfly Bayou 6-inch Designer Series paper pack. Now these papers are completely sold out in Europe, but they may still be available in Australia, Canada or America. I really don't know. On the back is a panel where you can write your message. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, take a screenshot so you can refer to it later. I'm using my trimmer today to create the card base, and my vertical ruler is in inches, so all the measurements given for this project will only be in inches. I'm using Bermuda Bay card for my card base, and I'm going to place it into my trimmer with the short side across the top, lining up the right hand side edge at 1 inch. Now I'm going to position my cutting blade on the vertical ruler at 1 inch and cut down to 6 inches. Now I want to repeat that for the other side, so I'm going to line up my left hand side edge at 1 inch. My cutting blade is already positioned at 6 inches, so I'm just going to cut up to 1 inch. And that's all the cutting needed for this card. So I'm going to move my cutting blade right up the top and bring in my scoring blade. Before you start the scoring, you want to make sure that your two cut lines are towards the left hand side. Now I'm going to line up the left hand side edge at 7.5 inches and score down all the way. My next set of score lines will be between the two cut lines, so from 1 inch to 5 inches. Now I'm going to first of all line the left hand side edge up at 1 inch and score between the cut lines. And then I'm going to move it along to 2 inches and repeat. And finally 6 inches. You should end up with a score line between the cut lines at the start and finish of the cut lines, and then 1 inch in from the start. Now my last set of score lines will be at 5 inches, and these will be from the top edge to the cut line and from the bottom edge up to the cut line. So I'm lining up that left hand side at 5 inches and scoring down just to that first cut line, and then I'm going to score from the second cut line down to the bottom edge. And that's it, the card base is complete. To fold the card base, I'm going to start by folding the 7.5 inch score line as a valley fold, and I'll burnish it with my bone folder. Then I'm going to start at the opposite end. The first score line is a mountain fold, so I'm going to press that gently downwards. The next score line is a valley fold, so that will be pressed just gently upwards. The last one is a mountain fold, and then the outside score lines are also mountain folds. Now once you've done that, you should be able to ease the card closed and burnish all those score lines with your bone folder. And there we have the card base. To decorate the card base, I want to cut pieces of paper to the shape of it. So I need to remove that middle section on the front, and also on the inside there's a little piece that needs to be cut away. If you position your designer series paper onto the front, you will see you've got a narrow border all the way round. Now you want to position it so the pattern orientation is correct if you've got a one-way design. I haven't got a pattern orientation with this one, so it's not an issue for me. But if you have, it's important that you line the correct long side up to the top of your trimmer. So I'll just show you that again. So if you position your paper on the front, we're going to remove that section. You want to turn it so the correct long side is at the top of your trimmer. If you don't, then your pattern will end up being upside down. Now I've lined the right hand side edge up at 7/8 of an inch, and I'm going to cut from the top edge down to 4 inches on the vertical ruler. Then I'm going to quarter turn anti-clockwise, line the right hand edge up again at 7/8 of an inch, and I'm going to cut this time from 7/8 of an inch down to 5 inches. Then again I'll quarter turn anti-clockwise, line my right hand edge up at 7/8 of an inch, and I'm going to cut from 7/8 of an inch right down to the bottom of the paper. Then you should be able to pull that middle section out, which you can use on another project, and this C-shaped piece should fit the front of your card base perfectly. I'm now going to show you how to cut the inside section. Again, position it so it's the right way up, so your pattern is correct. Take note of the side where you're going to remove the section and position that at the top of your trimmer. So again, position it so your paper's the right way up, note where you're going to cut the section out, and position that long edge into the top of your trimmer. Now you want to line the right hand side edge up at 7/8 of an inch, and you're going to cut down from the top to 1 inch. Quarter turn anti-clockwise and line up the left hand edge at 1 inch, and you're going to cut from 7/8 of an inch down to 5 inches. Quarter turn the paper anti-clockwise again, line the right hand edge up at 7/8 of an inch, and this time cut from 1.5 inches down to the bottom edge. You should now be able to slide that middle section out, and it should fit your inside section perfectly, again with that narrow border showing all the way round. I can now add all the designer series paper pieces to my card base. Now, as well as the 2 C-shaped sections, I've got 3 additional pieces, again using paper from the same paper pack. And then I've also got a square piece of basic white card, which I'm going to position on the back for my message. This is the Bloom and Grow stamp set, and I'm using this sentiment and this floral image today. I'm using my Stamper Artist for the stamping because I'm going to over stamp several times. I've already positioned my stamp and I'm going to stamp on some normal weight basic white card. I'm going to emboss the sentiment, so I'm prepping my cardstock with an embossing buddy. I'm going to start by stamping with Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I'm going to stamp this down twice so I get a nice deep black impression. Then I can clean off my stamp and I'm going to overstamp this time with Versamark ink, which is a nice sticky ink that will hold the embossing powder, and I'm going to stamp this down twice again. I can then cover with clear embossing powder and melt the powder with my heat tool. I'm also going to use the Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp my flowers. Now you need 4 sets of flowers for this card, but I've already created 3 sets, so I'm just going to stamp 1 now. And then I'm going to colour this using the Stampin' Blends alcohol markers. The sentiment will be die cut using one of the stitched So Sweetly dies, and it's the largest one from this grouping. Now it may look like it's not quite going to fit, but it does just. And then the floral image is going to be die cut using one of the Budding Blooms dies, and it's this one. I've added dimensionals onto the back of 2 of the flower images. The other 2 haven't got any on them yet. Now these 2, I'm going to add one above the sentiment and one below it. And then I'll flip it over and cover the back with dimensionals. All I then have to do is remove all the backings from the dimensionals and position my mats onto the card. And that's it, that's my card complete. Now this is the sort of card that I wouldn't gift in an envelope. I would create a box for it, and this is what I've done. So this is my box design for a 5" by 6" card, and I'll leave a link at the top right of the screen under the eye to the video that shows you how to create the box. And here's another look at my original card. Now the main colour used for this one was Calypso Coral. The yellow is again Daffodil Delight. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.